Hello everyone, today we're jumping back into Historic Brawl with the Balrog, Durin's Bane. Now, I've been hearing a lot of people say that the Balrog is kind of just a meh card, not too good in terms of value, but I actually think those people are a little bit wrong, and let me explain why. So the Balrog costs 7 mana, and he is a 7/5 creature with haste. Now that 7 mana is going to be reduced by 1 for each permanent that we sacrifice on the turn that we cast him. Additionally, he can't be blocked except by legendary creatures, and when he dies, we'll get to destroy either an artifact or a creature that our opponent controls. So, the Balrog isn't going to be a great value card over the course of the game, but having him in the command zone, he's going to be an excellent finisher for us. That 7 damage is going to be unblockable a lot of the times, and even when our opponent has interaction, we can still convert it into an advantage for us by destroying one of our opponent's artifacts or creatures. Now, 7 mana may seem very expensive, but with a lot of the treasure synergies that we have here, as well as some of the other sacrifice synergies, we can actually get him out for much cheaper than that, or at the very least avoid the command tax if we need to recast him, which is going to be excellent for applying more and more pressure to our opponent. So now let's talk about some of the standout cards in our deck. We've got There and Back again. So here, the first 2 chapters don't really do too much for us. I guess the second chapter, Ramping for a Mountain, is pretty okay. But then we can make a 6/6 red dragon with haste. That's Smog right there. So not only is that 6 damage going to be great for us, but we can also sacrifice Smog and then start sacrificing treasures to play out the Balrog for almost free, regardless of how many times our opponent has killed it during the game. Additionally, keeping in line with the being able to sacrifice a whole bunch of permanents because of 1 card, we've got Hew the Entwood. Here we can sacrifice any number of lands. Now, each land sacrifice is going to reduce the cost of the Balrog. And then we can reveal the top X cards of our library, where X is that number. Then we can choose any number of artifact or land cards and put them onto the battlefield. Now, we don't have as many artifact synergies to be getting off of this, but really this is here for those sacrifice triggers. We're going to be getting a couple of lands back as well, and the artifacts that we do have are going to help us push towards the win. We've got some small artifacts like Mishra's Bauble. This is a free sack trigger. Tormod's Crypt gives us some utility in the graveyards, also a sack trigger. Very good for us. Now, in terms of creatures, we have the Cauldron Familiar Witch's Oven, which is going to be really good, and then a whole bunch of other creatures that play off that sacrifice win condition. We've got Atsushi here. This is a great creature to sacrifice because we can play it out for 4 and get those 3 treasure tokens. Again, treasure tokens are huge for this deck, letting us cast our Balrog for cheaper and generating mana for an advantage. See, we also have other sacrifice outlets, making sure that we can actually sacrifice our creatures whenever we want to. Things like our Woe Strider here. Again, similarly, Witch's Oven. We also have Body Dropper. Now, we do have to pay for that one, but still, that's going to be really good for pushing us ahead. We also have Rankle. Rankle is really good because we're going to be much more inclined to sacrifice a creature of our own than our opponent, so we can start generating some value that way. Very good for us. Additionally, kind of an unexpected standout in this deck, we've got Angie, Maid of Dishonor, and now, we don't really care about the vampire synergy here, but we can sacrifice another creature or a blood token to have each opponent lose 2 life and have us gain 2 life. So this is great for closing out the game for us, since we're going to be dealing a whole bunch of damage and we have the potential to hit big with the Balrog. Now, if you guys have been enjoying my content so far, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on my latest videos. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button down below. Now let's go ahead and see how this deck does. Alright, here we are playing into Smeagol, the helpful guide. This looks like a good starting hand. We're going to go ahead and keep early ramp with the Signet. Logamos is pretty good as well, making those tokens and letting us sack them. Goldhound, this is just a treasure token for us. Also pretty good. Opponent starts with the Witch's Oven. And there's Jadar. Opponent is off to a very strong start. Right, Arcane Signet. Now we are just gonna swing out with the Gold Hound here. Since it has Menace, our opponent won't block. Getting every little bit of damage we can while we can. Here comes Smeagol. Alright. Yep. They're gonna steal one of our lands. Now we can cast Unexpected Windfall next turn. I do like that play. Let's discard a mountain. Alright, looks good. No attacks, end the turn here. Now we've got a couple of options for our next turn. Can go for the bigger Shieldred. I guess middle Shieldred. Can also crack some treasures. Try and cast the Balrog. Start forcing that damage through. I like that as well. No blocks. Black market connections. Yeah, our opponent's tapped out, so I think we're gonna go the Balrog route next turn. Yep. There's one more land. Now they do hit Kroxa. And we draw a Lightning Bolt. That's pretty good as well. Okay, so we're gonna start by just bolting Smeagol. He'll sack it with Witch's Oven. That's fine. Just the fact that our opponent doesn't have Smeagol is gonna be pretty big for us. Now, the fact that our opponent sacrificed it actually is going to reduce the cost of the Balrog, because it is each permanent sacrifice, not each permanent that we sacrifice. Alright. Now, we do have enough to pay for the Balrog. Let's go crack our treasures. Keep some extra mana open. And then do we want to play out the Woe Strider? Or Logomos for that extra damage? I think Logomos actually is the play here. Trading our Gold Hound in. Looking good, dealing some damage. Alright. Pass the turn there. Notably, Jadar is legendary, but our opponent's not going to want to chump block with Jadar. Next turn, we'll probably cast out Shieldred. Yep, they tap down to get Smeagol in. Sure. Shatterfang, yep. Token and Squirrel, yep. All's looking well so far. The Balrog is quickly going to become a big problem for our opponent. Yeah, I mean, we just block here. Alright. Yep. Okay, now we do have a Braid. A Braid is pretty fun for us, but I think we're gonna want to cast the Shieldred here. Opponent's gonna sacrifice a Squirrel token. Maybe instead what we're gonna do is we're gonna go for the Woe Strider, and then we're gonna hold up a Braid. I think I like that a little bit better. Make our token. Attack like this. Okay, blocks with Shatterfang. Alright, we can go ahead and end the turn here. Now, opponent is going to have to block because we have the Balrog next turn. We have a Braid to get rid of Smeagol. Alright. Responding to a trigger that's going to let them steal a land. We're going to go ahead and kill Smeagol. Yep. That gets sacrificed, fine by me. The important part is he's back in the command zone. And we've got it. Alright, good game. Alright, opponent on the play. This looks like a good starting hand for us. I like Witch's Oven. I like having Woe Strider. Got some early interaction with Bone Shards. And Fable to make some treasures. Looks pretty good. Opponent starts with a tapped land. Looking good. We're going to go ahead and start with Witch's Oven. Drawing the Rampage is really good as well. Can almost completely negate our opponent's turn 2 play and set them back. If they even have one. Alright, well, let's go for the Big Spender instead. Swinging out and pass the turn. Next turn we've got Fable, Woe Strider. We can also interact with the Rampage. Yep, okay. On to my turn. Start by swinging out. Looks good. Alright, Fable. Go ahead and end the turn. Well, there's a Resco. I do think we'll block it. Alright. Counter on Midnight Clock. Let's go ahead, discard Bone Shards and a Swamp. Get 2 swamps. Alright. We'll have our opponent sack Resco. Go ahead and end the turn. Slow and steady, making our way over there. Okay, Cutthroat, sure. Back to my turn. Right, playing out our land. Gonna go ahead and play out Woe Strider this turn. Sure, opponent destroys our Reflection. That's fine by me. Make it go. Now let's move to combat, swing for 1. Opponent can block with the Cutthroat, but they will not. Go ahead and end the turn. Next turn, we should be able to get our Balrog out. Alright. Looking good. Tormod's Crypt. Alright, let's go Sack and Scry. I like Shieldred. Definitely want to draw that next turn. Let's go ahead and cast out the Balrog. Opponent may have Wash Away here. They do not. Move to combat. Swing out. Okay. That's fine. Blocks Woe Strider. We'll make a treasure token. Opponent down at 9. Let's just play out the Tormod's Crypt so we have it. Pass the turn. Alright, so I think here we'll do a funny little thing where we'll go ahead and kill our Balrog, move it back into the command zone, and kill our opponent's commander. That way they've wasted some mana and that spell. We still have 2 damage on the board. If they play out another creature, alright, Time Warp, sure. That's fine. Yep. Yawgmoth, yep. We'll kill Yawgmoth with Shieldred next turn. Or the Champion of the Parish, I guess. Our opponent can choose to kill that instead. Another counter on the Midnight Clock. Now let's see. 3, 6, 7, 8. We can crack the treasure and play the Balrog. I do really like that, actually. Okay, Balrog is destroyed. Back in the command zone, because we do want to keep it. Let's go ahead and get rid of Gix. Now, do we want to swing out here? I'm fine with swinging out here. Okay, opponent down at 5. Go ahead and end the turn. We're going to be in a really good spot. We can sacrifice a whole bunch of things next turn.
The undead make great minions.
Alright. Notably, neither of these are legendary.
Effective.
Yep. Think we're going to have it next turn. Alright, well, let's start doing the things. Big spender. Get rid of those two. See, any of these that we want? We could just take the prism. That's fine by me. Exile our opponent's graveyard. Looks like we've got it. Alright. Okay, and here we are playing into Emoti. Now we only have 2 swamps here, so I do want to see at least enough lands to cast our spells. This is much better. We're going to go ahead and keep this opening hand. Be able to get some solid value here. Yep. So our opponent's going to spend their early turns ramping towards their big cascade spells. We're going to want to spend our early turns setting up a pretty aggressive board state. Start with the Crypt in play. Okay. Looking good so far. Here we're going to play out our Shambling Ghast. It's good to draw a turn 2 play. Now next turn, I think we can sacrifice the Ghast for Ob Nixilis. If our opponent plays a small creature, we'll be able to take care of it that way. Opponent's tapped out now. That's pretty good. On to my turn. Go ahead and move to combat. Nixilis, casualty. Okay, make that treasure token. Copy, looking good. Now we're gonna minus for the devil here on that ob, and then plus over here. This is just gonna give us some extra life gain. End the turn. Having this devil is gonna be really good for us now that we have 2 Ob Nixilises on the battlefield. Next turn we can play out Crucius. Yep, Ornithopter, sure. And Swiftfoot Boots. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and play out Crucius here. Have our opponent start discarding or losing life.
Doing business with you.
They're doing a lot of discarding. Okay, they're starting to lose life.
Or carnage. Tribute is
No attacks. We'll play out the Cauldron Familiar as well. End the turn. Submit 1. Let's go find something with a little bit greater mana value. Okay, Hue the Entwood. It's gonna be alright for us. Let us sacrifice some lands. Right. Opponent plays out Emoti here. Let's see what they hit. Guardian Idol. That's gonna enter tap. Next turn, we're going to be going for the Balrog play. We do have Atsushi as well. Start by plussing the Obnixiluses.
Your punishment is my entertainment. Defy me.
Alright, start cracking these treasures.
Lose everything.
Okay. Oh, sorry. We'll tap that for red. There we go. Balrog. Move to combat. Now that we have Balrog in play, I actually don't think we're going to need to do the Entwood anymore. So we'll go ahead and discard that to Crucius. Find something that costs less. It's a swamp, that's fine. Now we are in a really good spot here. Opponent takes an extra turn, sure. Yep. Gonna put the boots on Emoti. Yep. Again, things are looking really good. Opponent's gonna have to discard both of those cards to not lose life to Ob. We'll also have the Balrog, who can only be blocked by Emoti. Oh well, Immortal Sun is great off the top. That's gonna shut off our Obnixiluses. Don't think our opponent could have asked for something much better. That being said, though, we still have a lot of damage on the board. And just attacking with the Balrog and Crucius is going to cause problems. Opponent has no cards in hand. They're going to have to block. I actually feel pretty good about this. They can only block the Balrog with Emoti. Moving on to my turn. Well, that's a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Alright, looking good. Well, here's what we're gonna do. Swing out with everything. Yep, Emoti going back into the command zone. Yep. Alright, blocking the Cauldron Familiar. That does make the most sense. Opponent down at 6. Okay. I think we go with Atsushi here. Then we will end the turn. We're gonna decline here. I want to hang on to Fable. Okay, yep. Opponent's gonna draw 2 cards. We'll see if those are gonna be able to get them out of this. And they need a legendary creature in play to stop the Balrog this turn. Yep. So there's Emoti. Yep. You can use that to chump block the Balrog. Tribute to the World Tree. Sure. Drawing a card. Yep. There's another land. Opponent with access to 3 mana currently. We've got it. Alright. Alright, and here we are playing into Legolas, the Master Archer. This looks like an alright starting hand, but I am going to take the mulligan, see if we can find something a little bit better. I like this more. We'll go ahead and keep. Opponent with no turn 1 play, we're going to start with a Ragavan. Arcane Signet, alright, so Ragavan should be able to get in. And then Soul Shatter off the top is really good for us. Okay. Well, here's free Swiftfoot Boots. Go ahead and end the turn. Thanks, opponent. Okay, opponent's cultivating here. Alright, play out our land for the turn. Swing with Ragavan. Let's see what we get. Nothing of value. Now we can play out the Plunderer here. Alternatively, we can go for the Anvil. It's sacrifice a treasure to the anvil. We are losing out on 1 potential mana, but this is going to let us have that construct token that we can keep sacrificing each turn and replacing. I do like where we're at right now. Okay, Legolas hits the battlefield. Soul Shatter will take care of Legolas, most likely. Chance he's going to fight and kill Ragavan here. I know I would certainly look to do that. Next turn, we'll have a couple of different options for what we can do. We can cast the Balrog next turn in a little bit of a convoluted way with big score and those additional treasures and all of the things we'll be able to sacrifice. Yeah, that's fine. Legolas kills Ragavan. Ragavan got us pretty far ahead. Don't really have any objections to what Ragavan was able to do for us. Looking good. So we do have the option to play out the Balrog. Alternatively, we can just Soul Shatter, kill Legolas. I like that too. Yeah, I think we can wait a turn on the Balrog. Let's kill Legolas. We're doing this on our turn, so we can get that extra damage in off the construct. And just in case our opponent chose to fight. Okay. Replacement. Construct for a new construct. Deal some extra damage. Looks good. End the turn. Now, Plunderer is also going to be really good now that we have the Anvil. Okay. We've already established in the earlier turns that our opponent shouldn't have too much in terms of 1 mana plays. There might be a fight spell, but I don't think he's gonna use it just yet. Alright, now do we want to go for the Plunderer? Start making more treasure tokens? I do kind of like that. Let's go ahead. Make a treasure. Do some replacement. Can end the turn here. The extra treasures are going to be good. We're very closely getting to the point where we're going to pull out the Balrog and start swinging. Balrog with Swiftfoot Boots would also be pretty good. It'll force the block with Legolas so our opponent can't just use removal spells. Okay, yep, opponent passing. Sure. I have no reason to block. I have 28 life. I'm not gonna make any of their instants easier. They'll have to spend all the spells that they need to deal enough damage to kill my guys. Alright, back to my turn. So let's see how we want to do this. Let's start with the big score. We'll discard Gadrick. Okay, land. Here's a Cauldron Familiar. We're in a really good spot here. Let's go ahead and sacrifice the Familiar. Treasure and a food. Sacrifice our Construct. We're just gonna get the Balrog super cheap. Bring back the Familiar. Oop. There we go. Move that over there so we can click. Alright, well, let's see what is the issue. Move you over there. Sacrifice a food. I would like to pick this food, please. Alright, well, I guess not. Guess we can't do that right now. Guess we'll just cast out the Balrog then. I It is a little unfortunate as we're missing out on 1 damage. Sacrifice that last treasure token. Equip the Swiftfoot Boots. This is going to force our opponent to use any spells that they have. Right. Go ahead and move to combat now. Swing with the Balrog. Even if they have a creature with flash. Sure. That's also fine. Yep. Unfortunately for our opponent, Balrog goes back in the command zone, and Legolas is just going to die for that. We'll get a treasure. And we'll just end the turn here. Opponent can play out Legolas. That's their whole turn. Yep, looks like we've got it. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed. Like we saw, Balrog is a great finisher, puts a lot of pressure on the board in Historic Brawl, paired with a lot of sacrifice synergies, which are also going to slowly drain our opponent. He's actually a very strong deck to bring onto the ladder. Now, if you guys have any ideas for another deck that you'd like to see me play, make sure you let me know in a comment down below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. I'll see you all next time.